Okay, let's dive in. We're unpacking the thought spiral today. You know that thing where one negative thought starts and it just snowballs until you're feeling totally overwhelmed, maybe anxious, even hopeless?
Right. And we're going to approach these thoughts as what they often are, mirages. Illusions, really, that your mind cooks up because of its built-in biases. And importantly, this isn't some kind of moral failing if you experience this. It's actually a very common human thing, especially under stress.
Okay.
It usually starts with a trigger, right? Like maybe some critical feedback or just a stressful event. And that activates this pattern you might already have.
And the fuel for this whole spiral,
Yeah.
this mirage, is something called the negativity bias. Can you unpack that a bit?
Absolutely. It's basically our evolutionary wiring. Our brains are designed to pay much more attention to negative stuff than positive stuff. It's a survival thing, originally.
Okay.
So negative experiences just have a much bigger psychological impact. They stick around longer.
Right. So one bad comment can just erase 10 compliments.
Exactly that. And this bias feeds directly into what we call cognitive distortions. These are like the building blocks of the mirage. There are two really common ones you should watch out for. First one is catastrophizing.
Catastrophizing. So, like, immediately jumping to the absolute worst possible outcome.
Precisely. Straight to the worst case scenario.
But hang on. How do you tell the difference between catastrophizing and, just being realistic about a potentially bad situation?
That's a great question. The key is evidence. Catastrophizing usually involves a massive leap with like zero factual basis in between. It's going from, say, I got some minor feedback on this report, straight to, I'm definitely getting fired and I'll end up homeless.
Yeah.
It skips all the reasonable steps.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. And what's the second distortion?
The second one is emotional reasoning. And this one is so important to spot in yourself. It's the belief that just because you feel something strongly, that feeling must be an accurate reflection of reality. So, you wake up feeling anxious and your immediate thought is, today is going to be a disaster. Even though literally nothing has happened yet, your feeling becomes the evidence.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I can see how that happens. So we know how this mirage gets built. How do we start, dismantling it? What's the toolkit?
Right, the toolkit. We've got three main pillars. Pillar one is cognitive reframing. This comes mostly from CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. And this isn't about pretending the feeling isn't there. It's about changing the story you attach to the feeling.
How does that work in practice? Is there a process?
Yeah, there's a simple three-step thing. Catch it, check it, and change it.
Catch it, check it, change it. Okay.
So first you notice the thought. You catch it. Then the crucial step.
Oh.
You check it. You put on your detective hat. You have to ask, is this thought based on actual facts, or is it just my assumptions, my catastrophizing, my feelings talking?
So you're challenging its validity.
Exactly. Shine a light on it. Often, just looking for the hard evidence makes the thought lose some of its power, its heat.
Okay. But sometimes, even checking it, the thought just keeps looping, right? It doesn't stop.
Yes, absolutely. And that brings us neatly to pillar two, cognitive diffusion. We need to bust a myth here first. Trying to actively stop a thought, like shouting "stop" in your head, often doesn't work.
Right, I've heard that. It can backfire.
It really can. It's called the rebound effect. The very act of trying to suppress the thought often makes it come back even stronger, more persistent. You're essentially wrestling with it, giving it energy.
So fighting it gives it power.
Okay.
What's the alternative then? Diffusion.
Exactly. Diffusion. This comes from ACT acceptance and commitment therapy. The goal isn't to stop or change the thought, but to change your relationship to it. You learn to just observe the thought, see it as just words or pictures or mental events, without getting all tangled up in its meaning or emotion.
How do you do that? Is there a technique?
A really helpful one is the leaves on a stream visualization. You imagine yourself sitting by a gently flowing stream. And as each thought comes into your mind, especially the sticky negative ones, you gently place it on a leaf and just watch that leaf float by down the stream until it disappears. You don't push it, you don't analyze it, just place it and watch it go.
So you're creating distance.
Precisely. You're shifting from being the thought, I am a failure, to observing the thought, I am having the thought that I am a failure. That little shift is incredibly powerful. It breaks the fusion.
Okay, that makes sense. But what if the spiral's spinning so fast you can't even, imagine a stream? You're just in it.
Right. When you're deep in the whirlwind, observation can feel impossible. That's where pillar 3 comes in. Mindfulness and grounding. This is about pulling you out of the abstract world of your head and anchoring you firmly back in your physical body, in the present moment.
Using your senses.
Exactly. Your senses are the perfect anchor because they only exist right now. The thought spiral is always about the past or, more often, a feared future.
So how do we use them?
The classic technique here is the 5-4-3-2-1 method. It's designed specifically to interrupt that spiral momentum. You deliberately engage your senses. Name 5 things you can see right now, then 4 things you can physically feel. Point 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and finally 1 thing you can taste, even if it's just the inside of your mouth.
And forcing your brain to focus on that sensory input just breaks the loop.
It does. It pulls your attention away from the abstract catastrophe playing out in your mind and redirects it to concrete, present moment reality. It engages a different part of your brain.
Wow. Okay. So reframing, diffusion, grounding, that's quite a powerful set of tools.
It really is. You've got ways to challenge the thought's logic, ways to step back and observe it without getting hooked, and ways to pull yourself back to the present when it feels overwhelming.
So wrapping up, what this means is you actually have these concrete strategies, reframing, diffusion, grounding, to manage your emotional state and see through these mental mirages.
Absolutely. They give you agency. And maybe here's a final thought to leave you with. We know thought spirals aren't just in your head. They have real physical effects, tension headaches, tight muscles, maybe even brain fog. We know mental strain causes physical symptoms. So if that's true, what might the opposite do? What could the active, consistent practice of letting go through things like diffusion and grounding actually do for that chronic physical stress response in your body over time?
Yeah, that's definitely something to think about. What does actively releasing do physically? Interesting.